Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Lam and today I am bringing you a ZVT. This is going to be between colGanZi, the blue Terran, spawning down in the bottom left corner, and spawning up in the top right we do have iSjEcho, or iSjEcho I should say, the red Zerg, and Jekko, a top 10 Grandmasters. I believe he was actually first there for a tiny bit on the North American server. And he's kind of one of those, he was really an unknown player there for a while, until he just kind of made a post and was like, hey guys, I'm a Grandmaster Zerg and I kind of want to do some commentary and stuff. And he has some great Zerg commentary, I can tell you this right now just from watching his stream. He's very good with explaining everything that he's doing, everything like that. So if you are interested in learning Zerg, I would definitely recommend going and watching his stream. In the meantime, right here, I just want to point out GanZi not going for the wall off right there, and instead opting to build the supply depot in his main. So not too often that you see Terran players not take the free wall, and that they can get right there just in case. But no, GanZi just going to throw down that supply depot right here, and now going to start it with a barracks, it looks like. So interesting choice there by GanZi. And GanZi, I just want to say, did lose out in spring 2012, or 2012 Spring Arena, MLG's 2012 Spring Arena. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. He did lose out to MC, unfortunately, 0-2. But he did beat Goody right before that. So, you know, he's still a decent player and everything like that. One of the, he was, let's see, he finished right behind, who was it in MLG Spring Arena 1, the first one. He finished in second behind somebody, Marine King, in his group, and then unfortunately he lost out to Dongray Gu after that. But yeah, so it looks like here we go, Jekko gonna go ahead and go for that 15 hatch, as you see so often in the ZVT matchup. There's really no reason to not take it, as it's safe and you can hold any sort of build as of now. Until, you know, Terrans figure out something else that they can do, possibly just as Protest players figured they could forge fast expand and then cannon rush if there ever was a hatch first, really. So as of right now, Terran players don't have anything quite yet to destroy the 15 hatch that forces Zerg players to consistently stay in their base and go for like a 15 pool first or anything like that. So 15 hatch seems to be it, and in the meantime we see GanZi right now not taking that gas and in the early stages, and instead deciding to get this command center down. So he's going to go for a 1-Rax CC, which is a very popular build nowadays, and I just love watching the stages of Starcraft 2 as it evolves. Before, you would never in your life see a Terran player, and I'm saying like months and months ago, you would rarely or never see a Terran player go for a 1-Rax into a CC against a Zerg. That was like, oh, that's auto death, he'll just rush me with Lings and Banes and I'll be dead. But now all of a sudden it's like players are starting to figure out how to hold things more and more, and now they can throw down that CC right there. And yeah, so it's just really fun to watch how much people can get away with, and just as they get more and more macro oriented and more just about being greedy, but it's not greedy if you can hold it. You know, so I don't know. It's really interesting to watch it, and that's probably one of my favorite parts of the game. Right now, we also see GanZi has thrown down the double extract right there, so it is going to be a reactor Hellion coming out of this, and I just want to see if he is going to go out of this into a Starport Banshee or not. That seems to be a fairly popular build right now. There's generally two paths that I see the Terran players take. Either they'll go down for another orbital right here and then possibly get like double engineering bay to start their upgrades, or they will go for the starport into the Banshees. So those are generally what I see, or just sometimes some Marine tank basic pushes, things like that. But those are generally the interesting things I see. And here we go. Yes, we do have the starport going down. So we'll see, and he's having a little bit of trouble here microing all of his buildings, unfortunately. And there's the tech lab being added, so he is going to go for the reactor Hellions into the Banshee, which of course gives you such a variety of options for harass. And if your opponent tries to take a third right there, you can send the Banshee over to the third and just try and cancel it. Depends how quickly we do see Jekko throwing down that third base though, and it looks like he is going to opt instead to take the safer macro hatch. A lot of players don't seem to understand getting that third base A lot of that is simply for the larva. And yes, it's nice to be able to have that third base and get the mineral patches and the extra gas if necessary. I mean, of course, that is very nice, but a lot of players just need to realize, hey, you know what? If you throw down a macro etch, it's a lot safer, it's a lot harder for them to kill, and you still get all the additional larvae that you really want at this stage in the game. So, smart play right there by iSjEcho. And now he's also throwing down the double Evo chamber so he can start getting the upgrade. And here we see GanZi getting cloak with his banshees as well. So that's something that you kind of that's definitely something that goes back and forth on between the players. Sometimes you'll see the cloak, sometimes you won't. But as a Zerg player, this just makes them defend even more or have to react even more to this. Hey, you know what? Just simply having queens isn't going to be good enough anymore. I can cloak, I can come in. You're going to have to throw down spore crawlers, get out a lair, and throw it and get overseers. There's got to be some additional thing. And in the meantime, GanZi going to be taking a third. An interesting choice by him to be building this all the way out here. As you can see, he really doesn't have many units at all. He only has these 4 reactors on the field right now and 1 banshee. So not many units at all, and 3 marines, I should say. So if iSjEcho were to go for some sort of push right there, and unfortunately does lose a Hellion for free right there, and now the third base being taken, and he's going to try and come over here and snipe these Hellions. We'll be able to know GanZi with the good micro, able to stay away from those lings. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of times you'll see some players throw out a decent amount of roaches and lings, and if they just charge that over here, they could completely deny that third before it finished. And now, of course, it can lift off. But while it's being built, you know, it can get canceled. So that's why you'll see a lot of players build it right over here, or they'll build it right here in their base, something like that, and then lift it off and send it over there. So now GanZi going to be taking that third. In the meantime, iSjEcho's third is almost up as well. He is taking his lair, so that will be finishing up here in about 15 seconds. And I'm interested to see where he goes from this. Will he go for some sort of Mutatech off of this, or will he go for Infestors? On this map, I think Mutalisk are a decent idea, as look at all that yummy airspace all around. You can leave your Mutas in here, leave them back here, leave them in between right here. I mean, there's just a lot of room, but it looks like he's going to go for the infestation pit anyways. But yeah, I like to have the Mutas as well, because if they come over here for drops, well, okay. You know, then I can go get them with the Mutas instead of having to leave something back here. And look at all the damage that GanZi is doing right now, and that's what I was talking about with that cloak. He forces Overseers, he's going to force Spore Crawlers, and it looks like the Banshees are both going to get away as well. How many kills did he get? 18 drone kills from those Banshees right there. 4 and 14. So wow, impressive Banshees, and that's exactly the kind of harass you want. And as you can see in the worker count, he's evened it up right there. And of course, this is going to force iSjEcho to invest his next wave into more drones instead of into units right there. And we'll have to see if he... Oh, what a snipe by that queen. He took forever to run around and find that. And also something to note, great creep set here by iSjEcho. He's just making sure to continually push this out. Has dropped a lot of creep tumors, invested a lot into a lot of queens right there. And now he's taking a 4th base as well. So I'm interested to see when GanZi is gearing up for a push right here. He does have the +1/+1 finishing up, but there's still not a ton of units out on the map for him. 21 Marines, 3 Hellions, 1 Banshee. This, of course, is because he's invested so much into tech and infrastructure and upgrades. Look at all of this. He has 5 barracks, 2 factories, a starport, reactors, and tech labs on all of these. He has the double engineering bay, and he has a 3rd base up already. So, I mean, he is just going crazy in the macro game right there. He's already up to 64 SCVs. And we'll have to see if he's going to make some sort of push at any point, as he is giving iSjEcho a decent amount of time to macro up. And as a lot of Terran players would tell you right now, you simply don't want to wait too long and play against a late game Zerg. So I would imagine that he's going to be making some sort of push here with this 2/2 finishing up and the +1 on his weapons, if not even sooner. Generally, you want to hit, if you're not going to be hitting earlier, you want to hit before that hive tech really can pump out. But look at how early of a hive we have. His hive was started here at 12:45, and this is something I've definitely been noticing in the ZVT matchup, is Zerg players are taking their hives so much faster than they ever used to. So he's going to come over here and try for a double drop, and this is where I like to have Mutas so you can fly back there and pick them off. Instead, he's going to be forced to leave queens over here to try and deny these dropships, and in the meantime, a little pressure going to be heading down here to the bottom at his 4th, but I think he's going to have enough to defend it. Actually, no, that is not enough Zerglings to defend it, so he's going to try and do his best. There we go, some more Zerglings now streaming in, and that should be able to do a little bit more damage, but he's backed up into a nice little corner right here, and in the meantime, we see that he's also coming over here to try and get another drop from the main, and he's going to be able to drop a decent amount right there. The Queens do pick off one of those medevacs, and now they're trying to focus down the second. They won't be able to. However, that will get cleaned up. 2 Marines do remain down here at this bottom, and he's just going to pull all of his drones for a second right there and wait until he gets a few Lings and Infestors down there to join the party. In the meantime, the 5th base is going up. And do we see any additional command centers being thrown down for GanZi? No, we do not. So he is gearing straight up for a big push right here. There's finally a 4th CC. I was wondering when that was going to come down. And now big Marine tank army moving across the map. And do we have enough out of iSjEcho? As you can see, he is throwing down that spire. Looks like he's going to start trying to move towards some sort of Broodlord tech. He has a hive. Huge drop apparently does go down at this natural, and he has nothing to defend against it. All of his units seem to be caught out of position. He's trying to get over here to defend against this army, and now he's going to come in with these links to try and go for an engage. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, as the tanks are a couple unsieged, but there are sieged up ones on the high ground, and no, it's not going to be enough. However, he's going to lose a couple of tanks for free. Here is Link streaming from behind, but he still has a huge Marine force right here, plus 2 additional tanks, one of them badly injured, and the Infestors do come out. Huge fungal growth goes down. Is it going to be able to burn away all of these Marines? It looks like it will, and the Infestors seem to have saved the day right there as Link's now streaming in it, and they simply cannot do anything right there. So what a nice set of fungal growth right there by iSjEcho, but he's still not done with this engagement as more units are now streaming in again, and he has all of these medevacs once again over top. He does see this army right here. With his links, he's able to pull them and back out. Will the Infestors get some more fungal growth? It looks like they will. Do they have enough energy? No, they do not on these two. Simply one right there. Nice fungal growth does go down, but he's forced to throw out some beach balls right there, and those are just going to get cleaned up, as well as losing all of his Infestors. So now GanZi in a great position to start really sieging up on this 4th. He simply has 1 Infestor right there. He drops the fungal growth, able to kill off a couple of the Marines, but 2 are left, plus all the additional ones on the low ground, plus the tank. 3 tanks, actually 1 badly injured, but it still doesn't matter. iSjEcho going to be forced to transfer his drones over to his natural, or his 5th, his 5th, and another large force now pushing out for GanZi with all of this infrastructure right here. He's able to just mass up large armies in almost no time, and I just don't know if iSjEcho's going to have enough to deal with this. He's trying to get his Greater Spire down right now. That's definitely going to be a key for him if he can get that Greater Spire. But this is just such a beautifully timed attack here by GanZi as it hits before all that hive tech, so he's trying to really save up this gas and invest in that, but he's not going to be able to. Instead, he's forced to go with the Infestors and get some Zerglings, and now he's just going straight for a counterattack. He's going to run right up here and have to deal with these Marines and tanks, but he's just going to simply back out. Now he's possibly going to try and come in for a counterattack. I'm not quite sure what he really has to do now. He's just got these Lings and Infestors, and now it looks like, yes, he's just simply going to try and engage from both sides. And the Lings and Infestors do step forward. They're going to start charging, but these Lings are already gone. He has simply melted through this army, and the Infestors do spit out all of the infested Terrans, but that's not going to be enough. GG from iSjEcho, and colGanZi is going to be able to take this game with a beautifully timed push. So wow, that was one of the better TVZ pushes I have seen in a while, and just a great job hitting before the hive tech really goes down, before he could get out Broodlords and cause a lot more trouble. Broodlord Infestor, so difficult to deal with, and he said, you know what, I'm just going to hit when you have a few Infestors and continuously pump out. Look at the size of these armies. There's another one. There's the next one building up, and in basically 30 more seconds, that would be this big right there. So, I mean, just a great macro. Great macro there by GanZi. Great game. And my name is Mr. Llama for Clan Overdose. I hope you guys enjoyed this.